Good afternoon. This is the Dial Virtual School Edgenuity webcast for Wednesday, January 16, 2019. I hope all of you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year was able to spend quality time with your family and friends. Let's go ahead and get started. 1A, as usual, I remind you to make sure that you are checking on your students on a daily basis. When you go into the dashboard here on Edgenuity, just make sure you're looking at the alerts, make sure you're looking at the 100% completions, and make sure you're looking at on their progress as well, as far as the day since they last logged in. And here you'll see the numbers here as far as the last time the student logged in. So make sure you're looking at that. If you need to reach out to that student and see what's going on, make sure you do that. Make sure you're emailing the students their welcome emails when I first send you that student information, as well as getting back to them within 24 hours if they respond to you and ask you any questions. Remember, we have that 24-hour policy for communication. And yeah, just make sure on the completions that you're sending me the student's completion percentage, the name, the course name, and yeah, make sure that you're getting that in a timely manner. I would appreciate that. I know there are times where I see a student that's sitting at 100%, and I haven't heard from the teacher. It can be anywhere up from 3 to 5 days. It's a little too long to leave a student there that has 100%. I know that districts really like to get those completion percentages at final grade as quickly as they can, especially in December and May are the two main times as well, because they're really trying to finish those students up and get those grades transcripted. So make sure that you are looking here on a daily basis and communicating with those students regularly. Vouchers can be turned in the 25th of each month. I know some of you turn in those vouchers as soon as students complete. That is fine. If you do have a lot of students that complete within that 1 month, try to limit those vouchers if you can. Send 1 or 2 vouchers in that month versus 5 or 6 or 7 that you send in that 1 month for a student completion. So if you can kind of combine them and condense those vouchers would be great. That is just for teachers that have a lot of students. But whatever, I want you guys to send those in when it's convenient for you, but I just want to make sure we kind of condense those vouchers, please. New student login pages. Edgenuity has come out with new student user face. So that is when a student logs in, it's going to be completely different. We have not updated that yet. Districts have a choice of when they want to move forward with that. I didn't think it was a good idea to do it in the middle of our year as far as the second semester goes, because it'll throw everyone off. So I'm thinking this summer, we will try to transfer over to that new update. And maybe in May or June, whenever we do it, I will send out an email, and maybe even, I know there's a recorded video on in Edgenuity that goes over all of the new updates and how to what it looks like and how to go through it. That gives you kind of different information as far as what certain things do. So I know that you can go in here, I believe, video, I should go to the video one. I'm not sure exactly where it's at. I know it's in here somewhere, but I know it's, and I will send that to you. I'll just send you the link, and you can just go right to it. So you guys can actually watch that and kind of look and see what it looks like, because you are going to want to know how to navigate through that, I believe, just because you're going to have times where you're going to have to go in as a student and impersonate them to see kind of what they're seeing. I know it helps me a lot to kind of know what it looks like on the student side. So I will send that information to you once it gets closer to the summer. And we'll go and I'll make sure, you know, you guys get that video. I know it's in here. I just gotta find it. Let's go here once and see. So here's the orientation videos. Anyway, I'll find that. I know it's in here somewhere, and I just haven't looked into that a whole lot yet. But once it gets closer to that time, I will go in and find that recorded video for you and send it to you guys, and we'll talk more about that later. Okay, let's go on to B. Some of the stuff on here I did have on here are just reminders, and just want you to, you know, just to kind of remember some of this information and so you don't forget it. But 1B, if a student does some work in a course, I know I have a lot of questions sometimes asking if you get paid for a student, and it depends on a couple things. Is on B, you will get paid for a student that does some work in a course. That is if they do 0.1%, they do 1%, if they do 2%, you will get paid for that student. If they drop, we have a 2-week drop and add policy. If they drop within that 2 weeks, and let's say they did 2% of work in that course, well, you won't get paid for that student because they dropped within that time frame, that 2-week time frame, and so that student won't get charged for the course because they dropped within that time frame. If a student does 2% of work and they're past the 2-week time frame, and let's say they're in the course for a month or, you know, a month or 2 months, but then they are withdrawn and they're taken out of the course, you will get paid for that student because they are past the 2-week drop add policy and they have done some work in the course. You will also get paid for a student if they complete the course, obviously. You'll get paid for the student if they are in the course for the 12-month period and have done some work in the course. You will get paid for that student that way as well. So there's a few different ways that you do get paid for students. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. C, court board meetings are the first Thursday after the first full week. So you should receive payments. If you turn in vouchers the previous month, on the 25th, you will get paid the following month on the 10th. That's kind of how our payment process works. D, we have a website, which is dialsd.net. That was where we have our course information, application for teaching for us, and other information about Dial Virtual School. Student on IEPs. I know we've talked about this a couple times. We are getting more and more student registrations that where students are on IEPs. Now, I did get some information from Edgenuity that I believe I did send out to all of you guys about student IEPs and what Edgenuity does for them. And there's quite a few different things that we can do on our end, or I can do on my end, to help that student modify that course for that student. If there are any other modifications that the district is requesting or the students requesting, please let us know. We need to make sure we keep a good eye on these students and just help them in any way we can. I know we haven't, I don't think, had much of this in the past, but we might in the future, as far as doing either face-to-face phone calls or Skyping or go-to meetings with students, as far as getting them that one-on-one time. I don't think we've have had any of you guys have to do that yet, but just in case it might be a possibility down the road, we can do that, and I hope you guys are willing to do that as well for the student. So, but I'll resend that information maybe about IEPs out along with this meeting link. Just so that you guys have it. I would really request saving it to your computer or printing it off, just so we're a place where you can kind of look at it and kind of remind yourself of the different things that Edgenuity offers for those students. When I put a student in that has an IEP, I do go in and make all those modifications for them right away, just right off the bat, so that we don't really have any questions down the road as far as what we're doing for them. But if you guys have any other requests from the district or the student in regards to what we need to do to help make them successful, please let me know. Because this is a conversation we can have maybe in May when we have our live meeting, and just kind of talk about the different ways that we can reach out to that student to help them. Because I know we haven't had a lot of students on IEPs in the past, so this is just something new that's starting to come up. F, OLC students need 60% to pass the course. So when you go in, I know this happens a lot with OLC students. Once they complete their course, they're not at that 60%. So what I am thinking that we do, and what we have done in the past is, what we need to do is go in and reset some of that student's assignments, whether it's the tests, the quizzes, regular assignments, the final exam, whatever it is, but we do need to reset or give those students more retakes in those assignments, in their low graded assignments. And what I do when I go in to look at that, let's go in one of the OLC students here. So when I see a student that is low, has a low percentage, let's say a 50% in a course, and they're 100% complete with the course, what you need to do is kind of go in and look at the student's assignments. And a good way to do that, and this is what I do, I'm just going to pick on a student. Let's say Camilla Anthony here in Financial Math A needs some assignments to reset or redo. What I do is I go in and I go click on this and I go to scores and activity review. And I don't know if you guys use this a ton, but I do. But this is a good page to go to because it kind of gives you an overall view of the lesson, the activity, what the student got for a score, if it was counted towards the student's score or student's grade, how many attempts they've done, the submit date. It kind of gives you a lot of that information. And you can break it down. If you want to just look at the quizzes, sometimes I'll just go and say, okay, their quizzes did not do very good in their quizzes, very, very low in some of their grades here and in the score that they received. So what you can do, like say here, for example, on the quiz, it's highlighted, just click on it. It's going to take me to the grade book for the student, and I can either reset it or I can add a retake because already it's highlighted here, and this is what you are resetting, is this activity. And then down below here, you can see that they got a 30%, which is their highest score out of the 3 attempts. So here I can add a retake, I can reset it, and then that student will be able to go in and retake that again. So if I go back and I go here, once you reset it, it won't show up here anymore once you reset it or give them another retake. You can break it down to the tests, no tests yet, exam, we won't have a final exam yet, assignments. So you'll see all the assignments, which ones counted, which ones didn't. Also, I like to go into their progress report sometimes too, and I kind of look at the score. What overall percentage did they receive in all the quizzes and all the assignments in the exam? So let's say their quiz score percentage is low. So I know, okay, he needs to do better in his quizzes to get his grade up. So then I kind of can go in then to this section and go to quizzes and look at all the quizzes. And then from here, you can reset or retake once you click on this. It'll take you to the grade book. That's kind of what I do sometimes. When I see a student is low, I kind of make sure I look and see, okay, is it the test he's having problems with? Is it the assignments? Is it the final exam? Is it the quizzes? Once you kind of know that, then you can go into the scores and activity review section, and then you can break it down to the quizzes and then start resetting and giving retakes in those. Don't send me a completion grade that's below 60%. I can't pass them with that 60 or with that under 60%. So if you see a student ever that's below 60%, you need to email them, say, hey, I have reset these quizzes for you. You know, after you have completed the course, this is what you have for a final grade. You need to get a 60% to pass this course, and I have reset these for you. So that's what they require. I cannot complete a student that's under 60%. So please be willing to work with the student as much as you can. I know there's some times where a student on, you know, essays or performance tasks or labs, they don't do them. They just submit them blank and have nothing there, or they type like they're not going to do that assignment or something, type kind of something along those lines. And if that's the case, that's fine. If you are one that wants to give them one more chance to redo that, that's great. If they continue to submit assignments like that, then I would just give them zeros and move on. Because they can get 60% in the course overall if they do better on certain areas, okay? Because it's not just the essays or the performance tasks that's gonna, you know, make them fail. It's other stuff as well. So please be willing to work with that student to get that grade up as much as you can. If you have any questions about that, let me know. I did receive information, I believe it was a couple of weeks ago, from the principal out at OLC. I know you guys don't know her, but Tina Mills, who did their registrations as far as enrolling them into the courses, she passed away suddenly in her sleep. I believe it was a couple of Saturdays ago. They just recently had her funeral, I believe last Thursday it was. So they are right now without someone, without an employee. I believe they'll try to replace her and fill that position. I know Melvin, who is the high school principal, is doing that right now. But it was very sad for them. Just suddenly, no one knows why it happened, but we do send our condolences to them. We did send them flowers to the funeral, so hopefully OLC did receive those. And we just send our condolences to them and hope they can get through that. H, certification renewal for 2019. I sent out individual emails to, I believe it's 5 or 6 teachers that their certification is up this summer, and we'll need to take the necessary requirements to renew that certification. So once you do that, please send me your updated certificate so I can get that in your file, and you can continue to teach for us. So you did receive individual emails, you know who you are, and just make sure you get that certification to me once you renew that. Working students. Okay, so we do, or we have in the last couple of years have gotten more working students in our online courses. So I just wanted to let you guys know kind of how they handle online students at the district. So what happens is students that register with us from Brookings have specific end dates, and I try to put those end dates on the student information when I send it to you guys. Sometimes I don't get that until after I send you the email. So if that's the case, just go, when you go in Edgenuity and you find that student, the target date is the target date they need to be done by. So I will always have that updated and accurate in Edgenuity, even if I didn't get it to you. Just go and look at the target date for that student, and that is when they need to be done by. They are allowed no extensions by any means. So if any student reaches out to you with an email that says, can I have an extension? No, they cannot have an extension. You need to let them know that they will need to contact the district if they want to talk to somebody about an extension. But you are not allowed to give them those extensions, and I am not either. But what I do is I just relay that information to Brookings. But I know there has been a few that they have given extensions to, but most and the majority of students do not get extensions. So just wanted to make that clear. And I do need grades for those students on specific dates, and usually I will let you know that and email you with when I need those grades by. So please get those to me as soon as you can, because they're very demanding and they're like, this is when we need grades. So if I don't get them from you, sometimes it's hard for me to get them to them. So please be on top of those working students and make sure you're getting them to complete at that, by that certain time, and getting me those grades by the certain time. Yeah, they're pretty strict on how they run their online courses there. So if you have any questions about working students, let me know. The listserv, I did this last time. I just want to make sure everybody gets the information. In order to join our listserv, these are the steps you need to take. It's very simple. Once you get added, then we can go ahead and this is kind of a good way to have communication with everybody, not just Blackboard teachers and Edgenuity teachers, everybody together. So if you have any questions about the virtual school or anything, how it works, whatever, you can post questions here or just comments or whatever you want to ask. This is a good way for all of us to communicate. The Facebook page as well is another communication tool we have. If you go to Facebook, it's right here, Dial Virtual School. You just have to join, and then I will have to add you because I'm the administrator on there. This is a closed group, so not everybody is going to see what we post here. So it's just our group with the virtual school staff. And we can post anything that we want here, articles, just different information about online learning, anything positive here that we want others to see, we can post here. So good communication tool for everyone. Okay, go back to our agenda. And then lastly, our last two meeting dates. We have March 13th and May 22nd. The March 13th will be another webcast like this, and then May will be our live meeting where we join together and talk about the end of the year. Also, Sarah Furley still does have a book study if you guys are interested in that. It's an online book study. If you want more information, contact Sarah on that. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Other than that, I don't have anything else for you. So have a good rest of the day.